of you.
What's going on? That's my blood. That's my blood. It's a lot of my blood.
Hey everyone, it's PlayStation Gamers Day 2009. We're having a look at Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. I'm joined by Evan Wells, president of Naughty Dog. He's here to tell us about it. So Evan, the big news of tonight is that you guys officially unveiled that not only is the game going to have multiplayer, it's also going to have co-op. So definitely a big undertaking for you guys. So my first question is, with the original game being such a story and character-driven experience, how did you arrive at the decision that you wanted to branch that off into a multiplayer and co-op design?
Yeah, well, I want to just start off and emphasize the fact that we have not taken our eye off the single-player adventure at all. This is in addition to, and in every way, the single-player adventure is just as important as it ever has been. The reason we came about, or how we came about the decision rather, is we just looked at the move set that we had, the depth to the shooting and the traversal that we had in the first game, and thought that, oh, this would make a really, really fun multiplayer game, something that was really unique and stood apart from all the other online multiplayer shooters out there. The fact that you could add this verticality to the gameplay, you could have these arenas that allow you to climb up to higher precipices and get a higher vantage point on your enemies, and the fact that we had this really cool action stealth mechanic that we had developed for Uncharted 2 so that you could be hanging from a ledge and you could pull somebody off in multiplayer. We really thought we could make something cool, and I think we did.
So let's start by talking about the co-op part of it. I got a chance to play it for a little bit earlier. It looks like very high action, sort of objective-based experience. Would you describe it as that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is just one of the co-op modes that we have slated for Uncharted 2, and it is our objective-based co-op. It has you going from one end of the level all the way to the other. It's got a very light narrative. He whips out a map and says, "Let's go get the treasure," and then the three of you set off, and basically you move through the level in sort of stages or phases, and in each of those phases you're attacked by wave after wave of enemy, and you have to work together to take them out. If you aren't cooperating, then you're going to go down really fast, and as soon as all three of you are down, basically the game is over and you get sent back to a previous checkpoint. But if you work together, if you help your fallen comrades, basically, they go down, you can run over and you can revive them. And if you can save the guys who are sort of attacked by these special characters we call the grapplers, they'll come up behind and put you in a chokehold. Then working as a team, you'll actually be able to progress and start to encounter our mini-bosses that we have that face you along the way. But yeah, it is high intensity.
The actual combat in co-op, has that been changed or streamlined at all? It looks like it's still very much cover-based like the first game.
Yeah, our combat, and basically every single element of the single-player Uncharted is present in our multiplayer, from the cover-based shooting to the traversal mechanics, climbing, swinging, jumping, to our melee moves as well. So, I mean, it's really the full feature set has been lifted from Uncharted single-player and put into multiplayer.
Now you mentioned some teamwork focus in there. Besides actually like reviving a downed teammate, what are some of the other ways that you're going to need to interact with the other players to really make it through these levels?
Yeah, well, when those mini bosses show up, you really are going to have to concentrate your firepower on them to take them out quickly, because if they live too long, they're going to wipe your whole team out. So you basically have to team up and coordinate. Maybe have one guy distract them while the other two team up from behind. The revival state, like you talked about, that's a definite key cooperative moment. The grapple guy, you're going to need to cooperate on, as well as just to advance past the different stages. You have to get there and cooperate on an animation that's going to allow you to open up the next stage as you're progressing through the level.
Have you decided the total number of players or levels in co-op yet?
We can talk about the number of players, not the number of levels. Co-op is always going to be a maximum of 3 players. You can all split with 2. It becomes a more difficult challenge, but the reward could be there because you might be able to get a higher score that way.
So let's go ahead and talk about multiplayer now. What's the sort of basic gist that players can expect from the multiplayer side of Uncharted 2?
Right, so multiplayer, all of our competitive multiplayer modes are team-based. So it's always going to be heroes versus villains. So all the characters that you came to love in Uncharted 1 will be available as skins that you can pick and play with, as well as all the characters that you're going to hopefully come to know and love from playing Uncharted 2 will be available to you to pick from for the heroes. And then on the villain side, you're going to be able to pick from basically all the baddies that you come across, all the antagonists, the main antagonists, as well as the rank and file grunt soldiers that you encounter in the 2 games. And then we got here at the event tonight 2 different modes. You got a straight up deathmatch, which is 5-on-5, maximum of 10 players, and basically try to get to the score of 25 the fastest. There's a time limit as well, but if you're good, it usually doesn't become a factor. And then we're also showing off a game we're calling Plunder, which is inspired by Capture the Flag, but it's got kind of a unique Uncharted flavor to it because you actually have to physically pick up the object and carry it with you. So one of your hands is occupied carrying the treasure, so your left is to be able to use your pistol to defend yourself while you're holding the treasure. And then also our environments are not flat. As I was saying earlier, we've got this verticality to our environments. So you actually have to use your traversal mechanics to move that treasure to your home base. So you're going to have to take it and throw it up to a higher ledge and then chase after it, scramble up the wall to get to it before an enemy comes in and sweeps it away from you. So it encourages you, again, to work with your teammates to create sort of a fire brigade where he's standing up on the top of the ledge and you throw it up to him and then he moves it along the next leg as you move it back to your home base.
The types of weapons that we're going to see in multiplayer, is it the same variety as in the single-player portion of the game, or have you guys added new sort of multiplayer-focused arsenal in there?
All the weapons are available in both single-player and multiplayer. You're going to see the exact same weapons.
Is there any sort of like persistent stat tracking in the game, or maybe like an experience system or points that you build up in both co-op and multiplayer that you use in some sort of like unlocking feature?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody really loved how many features we had to unlock in the first game, and we plan on doing that and more for the sequel. And we've created a currency system that it spans all 3 modes: single player, competitive multiplayer, and cooperative. So as you're playing through any of those 3 modes, you're accumulating currency, which you can then go into, for lack of a better word, a store, and go in and buy all those unlockables. Some of them are features that might only help you in single player, some of them might only help you in cooperative, but they're all, you're all spending from the same pool of money that you've accumulated from all 3 modes.
All right, Evan. Well, when should we expect to see Uncharted 2 in stores?
Uncharted 2 will be available this fall, 2009.
All right, thanks a lot.